Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this week, for the week of January 8th to the 14th, and we got 4 stories to cover for this week, including reports that Ubisoft might be in a little bit of financial trouble to a certain degree, though. We also want to be talking about what has now been officially rumored, but now officially confirmed, that basically there is going to be an Xbox event for the end of January, and it's going to be sort of in a direct-like approach, at least according to some of the reports that are coming out, though. We also want to talk about a report that kind of has come out saying that supposedly Illumination might be working on a Zelda movie and all. And of course, we're also going to be talking about supposedly a game leak that's apparently Sony might be working on, to be exact, though. And if you're interested in where I got the source of these informations, links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, I like to do what I like to call the quick My 2 Cents, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details, though. The first one is a report that seems to be that Bandai Namco is open to the ideas of remastering some of their old Tales games, though, and will be doing it based off of fans' requests and all. Personally, I wouldn't be against it. I do enjoy Bandai Namco's Tales series. I think they are fun, though. I definitely enjoy those games, though, and I wouldn't mind seeing remasters or remakes of some of their old Tales games, and I certainly would be down with them bringing them over to the Nintendo Switch, or basically to, you know, whatever Nintendo's next platform might be. So I'm definitely down with that, though. We also learned that basically the chief director has confirmed that Rune Factory 6 isn't being in development right now, but it does seem like there are plans to do a Rune Factory 6, though. It is a little unfortunate, though, but you know what? Rune Factory 5 just recently came out, so we may have to wait a little while for that, though. My guess is that Rune Factory 6, if it is going to be on the Nintendo platform, more than likely we'll probably see it on most likely Nintendo's next hardware, though. It's possible it could come to the Nintendo Switch, though, but I'm kind of leaning more towards the most likelihood, whatever Nintendo's next hardware might be. We also learned that there is a rumor going around that the game Dead by Daylight will be losing the rights to the horror character Leatherface and will be removed yet. Again, nothing has been officially confirmed, unfortunately, though, but for Dead by Daylight fans who might be a little bit disappointed to hear this news, though, so it is a little bit unfortunate, though, but you know what, it's a lot of the copyrights and licensing issues that sadly is unfortunate, to be exact. We also learned that the producer of the story season in Rune Factory is developing a new action RPG for the Nintendo Switch. So far, there's been no gameplay or anything like that, just a teaser trailer, supposedly in Japanese, has been released at the moment, though. Given the fact that I do enjoy the Rune Factory series, though, I am kind of curious to see what type of action RPG that they are going to be developing, so I certainly will be keeping an eye out on that one. We also learned that supposedly Microsoft is advertising a game on Game Pass that hasn't technically been announced just yet, though, and it's kind of odd, though. Supposedly the report is showing that they're advertising Shadow Warriors 3, a part of Xbox Game Pass, and the thing is, we haven't really heard anything at this time, so sort of awkward, though. Maybe we'll officially hear it coming to Xbox Game Pass, though, but time will ultimately tell. So it's just sort of weird Shadow Warriors 3 never came to Game Pass, considering Serious Sam 4 did make its way over to Game Pass, though. We also learned that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is now out on iOS and Androids, and it's part of Netflix Gaming. That's right. I mean, if you're a part of, Netflix in general, you do have access to like Netflix Gaming. You can now basically download or play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, though. It seems as though Netflix approach to gaming is somewhat a little bit different than what we've seen so far with, say, what Google tried to do with Stadia and all that stuff. I think their more focus is on ISO and Android, to be exact, though. So, I mean, yeah, you could download it on ISO. Bear in mind, though, Apple's somewhat ridiculous policy that they have in place, to be exact. So it is what it is, unfortunately though. But if you have an Android or an ISO phone or anything like that, consider taking a look at Shredder's Revenge though. Don't know how that will work with the touchscreen controls. Some might be okay with it, some might not be. Personally, I enjoyed Shredder's Revenge. It was definitely a fun game though, and a throwback to the old Ninja Turtles arcade games though. We also learned that supposedly there are plans for Ubisoft to bring Ubisoft Plus to the Xbox though. There's been no official confirmation on this at this time though. It's possible that it's most likely going to be similar to EA All Access for those who have, Game Pass or Game Pass Unlimited though. As for whether they will reveal it, when they'll reveal it, if this rumor is true, I would say odds are that it's most likely going to be during, maybe it's possible they could announce it at the Xbox Developers Direct. Again, we don't know if that will happen or not, but I will say that is a possibility, or they could do a stealth release or anything like that. But either way, it's sounding like Ubisoft Plus might be making its way over to the Xbox, possibly Game Pass though. And we also learned that basically Bayonetta 3 has now received a new update, version 1.20 to be exact, and it does a lot of changes, certainly a lot of things and all, including supposedly making controlling Viola a little bit easier than before though. I haven't played Bayonetta 3 so far. I will say that her combat moves and all has a bit of a learning curve to it though. So we'll see if this update makes any kind of real improvement or not though. And now into the movie and TV part of my 2 cent video, we learned that basically there are Lionsgate has done several reshoots of the upcoming Borderlands movie with Tim Miller doing the reshoots. Supposedly they're not saying that there's movies in trouble or anything like that, but we have yet to see really any actual clips or anything like that. We don't know how well this movie might be received. It may turn out to be good though, or it may turn out to be bad. It's anyone's guess at this moment though. We also learned that supposedly Doctor Strange 3 is probably in the works though, which is kind of wouldn't be surprising if this is true, considering how well Multiverse of Madness did, to be exact though. Exactly when we might see it though, it remains to be seen. There's been some talks it might happen maybe after Avengers Krang Dynasty or something like that, so we'll have to wait and see until we hear an official confirmation. And we're also hearing reports of the possibility that Disney Plus might be doing a Strange Academy starring Wong, who was in from the the 2 Doctor Strange movies, to make an appearance on She-Hulk Attorney at Law, to even in Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings and all. So it wouldn't surprise me if this happens, to be exact though. We also learned that supposedly we have officially confirmed that both Avatar 3 and I think 4 and possibly 5 are confirmed to be into works though, although this really isn't that surprising indeed at all, considering just how well the first 2 movies have done. The second one got off to a slow start, but seems to be doing very well at the box office. So basically this isn't really that surprising. What direction they'll go with Avatar 3 and 4 and possibly 5, that remains to be seen at this time though. We also saw a new trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania though, and it looks very interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie. It'll be interesting how this all builds up to basically the next Avengers movie, Avengers the Krang Dynasty, if I'm saying the name correctly though. One thing about the trailer is that it sounds like Scott Lang basically makes a deal with Krang to basically make up lost times, considering that his daughter, Scott Lang's daughter has grown up though and missed out on a lot of important things in her life. Judging by it, sounds like it sort of gives the impression of he's making a deal with the devil in a way though. So I'm very curious to see how this is all going to play out, and supposedly this could lead to basically the creation of basically the new Avengers or something like that. But we'll have to see until when the movie comes out, I think in February. And last but not least, though, and on unfortunately sad news, it seems as though an actor by the name of Errol Bowen has recently passed away. Supposedly, he has appeared in several movies, including the first Terminator, but he's also known for voicing the character Captain LeChuck, if I'm saying the name correctly, of the Monkey Island series, though. I do want to say that my heart goes out to his friends and family, though. Sadly, he did pass away and all. Okay, with the quick my two cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with Sony, particularly a interesting story that has come out about it in terms of basically a game that they may be working on. Now, every now and then you'll hear rumors or supposedly leaks about certain games that may or may not be in development. Some games may have been developed but got canceled. Other times they're still in development, to be exact though. So you sometimes hear about it now and then. The latest one, at least as a Nintendo fan, from what I've been hearing, is the whole issue regarding Kid Icarus Uprising, whether that rumor is true or not though. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But sometimes we do see leaked footage sometimes here and there. One of the most famous one was when Gods and Monsters, there was an early build that Google unfortunately released at the time when they had Stadia before they shut it down, of an early footage of that would later turn into what would be now known as Immortal Phoenix Rising though. Well, recently it does seem to indicate that it looks like Sony may be working on, or at least having a developer work on, what supposedly is a new sci-fi RPG, to be exact though, and reports seem to indicate that this could be something along the lines of a possibility being close to sort of like what Mass Effect is known for. In two articles, this one from Game Radar, it reads that, quote, footage of what appears to be a sci-fi RPG from PlayStation has leaked online. The footage itself, which lasts merely a few seconds, can be seen in a tweet just below, published over the past weekend. The Twitter account claims that this is an exclusive PlayStation RPG, possibly being made in Unreal Engine 5 and developed by Sony's XDEV studio in Liverpool, England, though. The tweet humorously mentioned that people are apparently dubbing the footage as a Gears of Mass Effect. The clip, which shows a player's character with a rifle walking towards a giant, moving alien-like construction in the far distance, certainly appears to be a blend of Gears of War's money, battle-hardened aesthetic with Mass Effect's alien world. What's more, the Twitter user claimed that we should see more leaks of this unannounced game from Sony's XDEV throughout 2023. It is not entirely clear the leaked game is still in development at XDEV, and this could well be footage from years ago, but that portion of the caption seemed to indicate the leaked game is an ongoing project at the studio though. Given the visual quality of the footage, it wouldn't be surprised if this was an older footage from an XDEV game. The studio, if you're unaware of, typically helps PlayStation-owned studios ship their games and has helped out in the likes of Sackboy, A Big Adventure, and Returnal over the past few years for the PS5. If this leak is generous, this could be XDEV set up in their first original game. Meanwhile, over at Push Square, it seems as though they are reporting that the footage that leaked sci-fi footage might be a game developed by from developers of Outriders and Bulletstorm though, full clip edition from People Can Fly. According to what Push Square is saying, they're saying, quote, last week, several seconds of leaked footage from what is supposedly an unannounced Sony title appeared online. Described as a sci-fi RPG by the original leaker, it appears something that XDev is working on, the Sony studio that typically supports Eternal developers in their PlayStation-based endeavor. Given developer's usual role, it is assumed that this project is being headed by a third-party studio, and naturally, people have been trying to work out which developer is behind the wheel. We see a lot of suggestions already, but one that's gaining the most traction is People Can Fly, the primary Polish outfit that's most recently released Outrunner. This all stems from a post on Reset Era, which points out that the leaked footage seems to feature the word Red in the bottom right corner of the screen. Red, which was the code name for a People Can Fly project, which the developer said was in the concept development phase back in 2021. If you squintish look closely though, the evidence starts to line up, especially since People Can Fly obviously have a lot of experience with third-person shooters, and the leaked project appears to just be that. Now, it is worth pointing out there has been no official confirmation between Sony or People Can Fly or anything like that. That being said, I am kind of intrigued about this title, and I'm kind of curious to see if this one will see the light of day or not, though. The ideas of a Gears of War / Mass Effect sounds very intriguing to me, though, and I'm kind of curious to see if we'll see if this game does exist, or if it is in development, to see if we'll see the light of day or hear about it this year in 2023. And if so, it'll be interesting to see what has changed from this so-called leak footage that has come out to what the final product may or may not look like. But again, this should be taken with a grain of salt. We haven't heard any official confirmation at this time, so we'll have to wait and see until we hear what People Can Fly or what Sony have to say about this. So overall, very interesting leak that has come out, though. The ideas of a Gears of War and Mass Effect sounds very intriguing, though. But again, like anything, this should be taken with a grain of salt. We don't know if the game has been canceled or in development hell, or if this was footage from years ago. So we'll just have to wait and see until we hear from what Sony and possibly People Can Fly have to say, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 2, and this one has to do with a report from Giant Freaking Robots and the claim that supposedly Illumination might be working on a Zelda movie, though. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video for this week. And for this one, I want to take a look at a interesting situation, as there seems to be reports indicating that the possibility that we could see a Zelda movie being done by Illumination. Now, one of the things that I have kind of noticed this generation is that we're seeing more and more, TV shows or movies based off of video games IPs. A lot of that, sometimes it hasn't earned the greatest reputation of all time, but we have gotten a little bit better over the years, though. Series like the Castlevania series on Netflix has done very well, along with Witcher has done very well. I've been watching the ones like on Dragon Age and Dota, to some that have gotten sort of mixed response, like say Dragon Dogma, to even the Halo one has gotten mixed response. But we've also seen, at the same time, with, like I mentioned, successes like also the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and we know that we're seeing the upcoming Super Mario Brothers movie, which will be coming out in April. And while there are still folks that are kind of mixed on the idea of Chris Pratt voicing Mario, I am one of those folks to be exact, though. I'm still looking forward to seeing the movie, though, and based off of the 2 trailers I've seen, plus the footage that was shown during the video game awards, though, I would say I'm not bothered with Chris Pratt voicing Mario, as opposed to some on the internet are making it sound like it is, though. He's not my first pick, but I'm willing to live with it, though, and I am looking forward to seeing how this movie plays out. And based off the second trailer, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Well, now there seems to be reports indicating that we might be seeing a Zelda movie based off a Zelda movie from Illuminations, though. Now, granted, it's worth pointing out this comes from Giant Freaking Robot, though, and supposedly they have a history of being a hit and a miss, so some grain of salt should be taken from this, though. But anyway, according to what Giant Freaking Robot is basically saying, they're saying, and this is the smallest part, though, quote, Our trusted and provided sources tells us Illumination, the same studio behind projects like the Despicable Me franchise and the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie, is developing and animating the Legend of Zelda movie. Assuming it's everything that makes it to the big screen, it will be the very first film adaptation for the franchise. The only thing close to it would be the legendary and supposedly god-awful Legend of Zelda cartoon that appeared during the Super Mario Super Show back in the 80s, and the character also made an appearance, I think maybe either one or some of the episodes of Captain N, the Game Master, back in the 80s and early 90s. God, I can't believe I remember that. That and all. Now, assuming what Giant Freaking Robot is saying is true, this is what they're saying though, I'm a little mixed with the idea of Illumination handling a Zelda franchise. While I'm not as much bothered with them doing a Super Mario Brothers movie based off what we've seen so far, I feel as though that for a franchise like Zelda, to a certain extent, I feel as though that one feels more towards somewhat more of an older audience compared to what a character like, say, Mario, which appears to appeal to pretty much everybody, young and old to be exact. I feel like that would work better in more like an anime style approach, the Zelda movie, or even the TV show to be exact, than I would say with something being done by like Illumination or anything like that. But I mean, I could be wrong. They may actually be able to pull it off. We know that there are rumors going around that they might do a Donkey Kong movie to be exact. Though, assuming how well the Super Mario Bros. Movie does, I have a very good feeling the movie will probably do well at the box office. But we'll have to wait and see when the movie comes out in April. So, I mean, yes, they could probably pull it off though, but I just, for some reason, I just feel like Zelda's more for an older audience than, say, what Mario it is. So I'm just not 100% sure about Illumination handling a Zelda movie. But again, like anything, though, it's too early to tell if that's going to happen, to be exact, though. It is from Giant Freaking Robot, so some grain of salt should be taken. And it is worth pointing out, Nintendo nor has Illuminations and make any confirmation at this time. So we'll just have to wait and see whether this truly does materialize or not, though. So overall, though, I would say a Zelda movie could technically work if it's done the right way, though. I'm not 100% sure about having Illumination handle it, as I feel like that an anime type of approach would be a better suit for a Zelda-like movie or a Zelda TV show, though, compared to the rumors about supposedly Netflix working on a live-action Zelda series, which that was just a rumor and all, to be exact. So I'm kind of mixed on the idea of Illumination working on it, though, but it's way too early to tell. We'll have to wait to see if it comes to fruition or not. I assume a lot of this will depend on just how well the Super Mario Bros. Movie does at the box office, and right now I'm leaning more towards it probably is going to do the Super Mario Bros. Movie, that is, will probably do very well at the box office, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3, and this one has to do with supposedly what we now have officially confirmed, though, is the Xbox event, or Developers Direct as they're calling it, though, is going to happen. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the official announcement of a Xbox event, particularly what they are referring to as their Developers Direct, though. Now, I will say 2022 wasn't exactly the best for Microsoft or anything like it, particularly with Xbox, though. I'm not saying that the Xbox Series X or S flopped or anything like that, but when it came to like first-party exclusives or anything like that, it wasn't exactly the best of years compared to what Nintendo and what Sony put out, whether it was Sony with God of War Ragnarok or Nintendo with games like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle or Bayonetta 3 and all. Microsoft really didn't have much outside of Pentiment, which don't get me wrong, that's a good game and everything like that, but it wasn't exactly 2022 wasn't exactly the best of years for when it came to first-party exclusives from Microsoft, though. Well, going into 2023, there were rumors at the time indicating basically that Microsoft was preparing supposedly an event for basically to show what they're going to bring to the Xbox Series S and X, the PC, and of course Game Pass and everything like that. Though this had to do with a lot of the fact that some of their games like Redfall to Starfield got pushed into like 2023 and so forth and all. And then we started hearing renderings from Windows Central, which was basically claiming from their sources about the possibility of Microsoft hosting an event. Well, after that story broke and everything like that, it turned out this week we had officially heard confirmation that Microsoft will be hosting a developers direct, or their own take to a direct, though. They will be highlighting several games and all. In several articles from Pure Xbox, the first one is basically reporting is this. It's been announced that the Xbox Game Studio and Bethesda will be hosting a developers direct show on January 25th at 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 8 p.m. I believe Mountain Time and all. The live stream will feature an insider's look at some of the games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months, including the Elder Scrolls Online, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall. Meanwhile, a separate standalone show is in the work for Starfield. You'll be able to watch the Xbox and Bethesda Developers Direct event live with us here at Pure Xbox on Wednesday, January 25th. And it's also available to watch separately on YouTube and Twitch. It's also been reported that the event supposedly will last about 43 minutes, though. In regards of Starfield, it's been reported that, as I mentioned earlier, Starfield will be basically getting its its own particular event, though. This was the announcement that Xbox posted, though, and it also came from Aaron Greensberg. It reads that, quote, "To dedicate the proper amount of time for a deep dive into Bethesda's game studio Starfield, a standalone show is in the works." Following up on this, Pure Xbox writes, quote, "Now, we don't know any sort of time frame on the Starfield showcase, aside from the fact it will arrive after the January Developers Direct, of course. Considering it's getting its very own show, we expect Bethesda to go all out with it in its next Starfield showing, though." So it's going to be very interesting to see how Microsoft and Bethesda handles this, this direct, though. It's going to be, we know that they're focusing on several games, but I am kind of curious to see if we're going to see any kind of surprises, though. There are some rumors going around the possibility that GoldenEye, that was reportedly coming to the Nintendo Switch and, Xbox, though, there are rumors about the possibility it will be released this month. Though, while it's not officially confirmed or anything like that, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Microsoft could announce it during this Developers Direct, which is about 43 minutes long, and say, "Oh, GoldenEye is now available on, Game Pass and all," which would be interesting if it's announced. If they do announce it, it will be interesting to see how long until we hear it come to the Nintendo Switch and all. It's also a possibility they could announce Ubisoft Plus during this event as well, and it's also possible, and there, though nothing confirmed, that Tango Games might be working on a game that's sort of more in the scale of what Obsidian's Pentiment is. So it's possible they could show this off during this Developers Direct, though. One thing I would like to see from this Developers Direct is that I would like to see, if they're going to show actual gameplay, let's make sure we show it what it's running on both, not only the Series X, but the Series S as well, though. I mean, I understand Microsoft is bringing it to multiple platforms, PC, Game Pass, Xbox Series X and S, but I want to know how these games are going to run on both, not only the X, but also the Series S, as someone who owns an Xbox Series S. So I would like to see how these games are going to run and everything like that. As for Starfield getting its own showing and all, I'm not entirely surprised by this to a certain degree, though. In fact, this is something I've kind of seen with Nintendo doing with their directs, though. Sometimes they'll have a direct focus on just one game and one game alone. We've seen this with Pokemon, like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, though. We've seen Zelda get its own direct, though. Let's be honest, though, I wouldn't be surprised if Tears of the Kingdom gets its own direct and all. We've seen this with Mario. Hell, we've seen long directs. We've even seen short directs, like when they did a short directs announcing, the Super Mario Brothers movies and all. So the fact that they're going to do a dedicated one for Starfield isn't really too shocking, though. How they present it, though, is going to be very interesting. And it will be very interesting to see how well Microsoft takes this approach, though, to see if they can nail the direct formula down well to an audience that will be like, yeah, we're going to be looking forward to this and all. Much like how it is with Nintendo, which it took them a while to ultimately nail down the formula for their own direct, though. Same thing I could say with Sony with their State of Play, to be exact, though. But like anything, like any kind of direct that Nintendo is known for, I'm going to approach the Xbox Developer Direct the same way I approach Nintendo when they do their Nintendo Directs, which is basically go in with keep my expectations in check, though, because while it is possible that there could be surprises from this, though, it's possible we may not see any surprises at all, and it's just basically what they just said that they're going to talk about at this Developers Direct. So that's the kind of approach I'm going in to this one. But in either case, I am kind of curious to see what exactly Microsoft is going to show during this Developers Direct, and we'll find out on January 25th. So overall, I would say it's nice that we have official confirmation from this, though. I am looking forward to seeing what this Developers Direct is going to be, though like I said, I'm going in with keeping my expectations in check, though. I'm hoping we get that we do get official concrete release dates for a lot of these games, though. That would be really great, to be exact, and I do hope that along with showing off the PC version, I would like to see how the games are going to be running on the Xbox Series X and S, particularly as someone who owns an Xbox Series S, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video, and this one has to do with basically Ubisoft might be in financial trouble. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Excuse me. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Ubisoft, and well, let's just say, according to some of the reports that are coming out, they're not exactly in the best financial situation. Now, most people know Ubisoft for some of their franchises, whether it's some of the Tom Clancy games that they have worked on, to games like Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, Rayman, and so forth, though. But lately, there have been certain questionable decisions Ubisoft has done. This is ranging from basically some of their employees are being treated, to some of their obsession of making every game open world and all, following the Assassin's Creed formula, which not everyone agrees with, to their obsession with making every game a live service, though. We saw what happened with Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint and how that had a major negative impact on Ubisoft and so forth, though. Well, recently there does seem to be indication that they are coming in with lower than expectations, and some of it have come from surprise situations like Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, to not so surprising with Just Dance and some of the questionable decisions Ubisoft has made. In several articles, this one coming from Game Industry .biz, it reads, Ubisoft slashed its forecast for the current fiscal year today as announced a handful of other moves signaling a change in strategy for the company. But publisher has said it spent the past 4 years working on building up long-lasting live games and an adaptation to our strong franchise like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and the Tom Clancy games to match converting trends. But some titles from this investment phase has yet to launch, and recent release have not performed as well as expected. Compounding this effort, in the context of worsening microeconomic conditions, the trend over the holiday season, in particular the last week of December and the beginning of January, has been markedly and surprisingly slower than expected, the company said. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope and Just Dance 2023 were singled out and particularly underperforming, most notably in December and in early January. The overall content has triggered a full review of our revenue prospect, leading to increased cautiousness over the coming years, the company says. Ubisoft has revised its project slate today, announcing the cancellation of 3 unannounced projects. In addition to the 4th, it has confirmed giving the axe last July. The often delayed Skull and Bones, which has been delayed once again, this time to early in the next fiscal year, which states in April. The game has been set for a March 9th release. We have decided to postpone its release in order to have more time to showcase much more polished and balanced experience and build awareness, the company has said. Meanwhile, over at PlayStation Lifestyle, it seems as though at one point Ubisoft laughed at the idea of an acquisition, and now they probably are not looking good or anything like that. Now, it's worth pointing out, though, that this is coming from Jeff Grubbs, who, let's just say, has a history of being a hit and a miss. But still, given where Ubisoft is right now, especially reports of how their stock fell really bad and all, I'm kind of siding with Jeff Grubbs. Not entirely, but kind of siding with it, though. According to what he said, this is what he said, quote, Ubisoft definitely already did the rounds of postponing acquisitions and mergers with other small companies, and it mostly got laughed at. It's just too unwieldy. Its strength was its distributed development structure, and now it is its albatross, or its curse to be exact. While he hoped that Ubisoft decides to toughen it out instead of laying off employees, he believes the publisher's future is grim either way. In fact, he believes that everything is on the table for potential downscaling. One possible hesitation by other companies to acquire Ubisoft is the sheer size of the publisher, which has well over 40 studios and subsidies around the world. Ubisoft plans on cutting costs around $200 million. Upcoming games from the French publisher includes Assassin's Creed Mirage, Avatar, Frontier of Pandora, and The Division Heartland, though. So, in terms of several of this, though, in terms of Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope's underperforming, though, I will admit it is kind of a little bit surprising, though, but I think there are several factors you could take into consideration, though, of its underperforming. Some of it may be because of, Ubisoft's reputation isn't exactly the best or anything like that, including with how they handle some of their game development, though. Two, perhaps the possibility that they may have set the expectations too high or set unrealistic expectations of how they expected the game to do. I mean, then again, I could say the same thing. Nintendo could have done that as well. So it is very unfortunate to see Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, at least according to Ubisoft, underperform, considering that I really did enjoy that game. It is a really good game. It's just sad that it did not perform as well as they had hoped for. But then again, at the same time, like I said, and a lot of people has pointed this out, though, their obsession with live services and making all their games open world, which not every game needs to be an open world. Some games will work best in an open world formula, but not every single one of them will. And their obsession with it, though, also that and their push for a live service like, like a Fortnite or, a Destiny or something like that, kind of contribute to the situation Ubisoft is in, though. I mean, now, could they turn it around? Could something like Assassin's Creed Mirage do very well for them? It's a possibility, as there are reports that this one is going back to its roots and everything like that, though. But there are a lot of bad decisions sound like Ubisoft has made, though. And I do kind of agree with one of the criticisms, though, that there may have to be a change in leadership and all, because it seems as though whatever leadership is doing, they're not doing it right, and they're not doing a really good job, though. So we'll see what happens with Ubisoft. Maybe they can recover from this. Maybe they can get back on track. But right now, they're not exactly in the best position at this moment. So overall, though, Not great news for Ubisoft. Kind of surprised and a little bit disappointed to see Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope not do very well, because I did enjoy that game and all. But some of this, I will say, is of Ubisoft's doing, and we'll see if Ubisoft can truly turn this around or not, though. But like I said before, I think one thing could be is a serious change in leadership and all. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week, though, for the week of January 8th to the 14th. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about this new, possibly this leaked game from Sony, though? Do you think this game does exist? Do you like the idea of a Gears of War and Mass Effect type of a game? Do you think it's possible People Can Fly is actually working on this, though? Do you think we'll hear about this game this year by any chance? What are your thoughts about this report from Giant Freaking Robot about a Zelda movie being a work by Illumination? Do you think this report is accurate in any way, though? Do you think Illumination is the right choice to do a Zelda movie, or do you think another studio should do a Zelda movie? Do you think like an anime style would be a better choice for a Zelda movie or a Zelda TV series, though? What are your thoughts about this Xbox event now happening on January 25th, though? Are you looking forward to this event in any way, though? Do you think there may be some surprises, like, say, the announcement of GoldenEye coming to Game Pass or something like that? Are you hoping to see some gameplay, some of the gameplay of, say, like Redfall, Forza, Minecraft Legends, and that? Are you hoping to see an actual release date and some actual game running on Xbox Series X and S along with on the PC? And do you think it was the right decision for Microsoft to have Starfield have its own separate event, or do you feel like they should have put this as part of the January 25th Xbox Developers Direct event? And what are your thoughts about the Ubisoft financial situation, though? Are you surprised what is going on with Ubisoft? Are you not surprised in any way, though? Are you surprised to see that Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope did not perform well? Or do you think maybe Ubisoft raised their expectation too high? Do you think Ubisoft can turn this around? Do you think that there will be a merger or acquisition of Ubisoft? Excuse me. Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notification of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!